Mitikayo Asen, let's take a break from politics, shall we? Because, as I said, I don't like politics. Don't even like talking about it. I like talking about the pursuit of truth. I like talking about finding our purpose. I like talking about happiness and confidence and self worth. Because by finding all these wonderful things, pursuing all these wonderful things, seeking them with all our hearts and all our souls, then we have. The result will be not only good us individually, right, but good families, good neighborhoods, good communities, good nations, good politics, good culture, good. For those of you who have followed me since I started doing this over a year ago, and that means Maureen and Tim, thank you. I have spoken before about the four major categories of emotions. There are, if you talk to people in my field, are called, I think, laughably behavioral scientists. This is a label that's pinned on me, so yeah, whatever. Okay, behavioral scientists. But my colleagues argue, debate how many broad categories of emotions there are. Because I mean, if you're talking about individual emotions, it's probably infinite. A number of behavioral scientists speak of 99 emotions. I don't know what they are. I haven't. I probably have glanced over the list, but I have seen more people talking about a dozen emotions or half a dozen emotions. Disney had an animated movie several years back called Inside Out, and they spoke about 6 broad categories of emotions. My mentors had 6 as well, and there was some overlap, but they were not the same 6. I finally came to believe that there are 4, and they are happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. Or to make it very easily memorable, glad, mad, sad, scared. These are the big 4. And they are part and parcel of being human. You can't be human and not experience all 4 of these emotions every single day, probably multiple times throughout the day. I like to make the analogy that, say that you're anxious about something's really weighing on your mind, so you pace up and down and you pace in your yard. And you're not pacing for minutes, hours, even days. You're pacing for weeks. And as you do this, you're wearing a trench into the ground. And you're also attracting all this negativity, all this storm clouds. It starts to rain, it's acid rain. And the trench starts to fill up with all this negative water, all this negative energy in the form of acid rain. But you're so into yourself, you're so wrapped up in yourself, you don't take any action against it, which would be really simple, because right down the road at the end of town is a dam filled with this beautiful, pristine water. And all you have to do, any town's member can go up to the dam and push the button, and the floodgates open, and the water will come out. But you're too wrapped up in yourself to do this. And you continue to pace for more weeks, until finally you've had enough of yourself. So you go over there, you push the button, the gates open, and the floodwaters come out. And they cover the town, and they push all that negative energy that's in that trench that you wore. All that energy, all that negative energy is pushed out and replaced by positive energy. And the negative energy doesn't disappear. This is not a Marvel movie. It's not a superhero movie. The negative energy is dispersed throughout the town, and it is absorbed by the ground. So it exists in minute portions. And the trench has the positive energy. This is your new baseline. So once you take this action, that means when it comes time to dealing with any negativity in your life, you deal with it because you realize it's really a small thing compared to that wonderful large trench filled with the positive energy, that new baseline. So you deal with the positive, negative energy, you manage it. You can't make it disappear, but you manage it, you learn to live with it. As soon as you can, you get back to that baseline. Now, that's what I used to believe. But now, I've come to understand that there are two broad categories of emotion: happiness and fear. Polar opposites of each other. I will speak more about that in chapter 2. Peace, 4 fingers.